Are you interested in learning how to make outfits? If that sounds like you, please stick around. Hi family, my name is Vivian Obunde. I'm a beautician and a fashion designer. This is Sewing 101 with Vivian. That being said, let's get to why we are here. Today I'll be taking you on the basics of sewing, starting with the various sewing tools there are. First off, you would need a measuring tape. This is the measuring tape. It comes this one comes in 60 inches max. There are others that come in 120 inches. You would need this at least. You will need a school chalk. If you can get hold of a tailor's chalk, that's perfect. You will need a scissors, a hand needle, a sewing thread, and of course a pattern paper. With this you are ready to get started to be a tailor. If you can get hold of a ruler, it's perfect, but if you can't for now, feel free. I'll show you how to navigate around even without a ruler. Now this is how to read your tape. Beginning from this iron part, you will see it starts from the iron part all the way to this point, which is 1 inch. So from this iron point to the longest part on this tape is 1 inch. So from this point to this point now is 2 inch. Is 2 inch. So from every long line you see here, it's 1 inch interval, 1 inch apart. Now imagine this line now is on this point, just that it's covered with this iron to give this like a bit of structure and protection. So imagine there's a long line here now, moving to this point, making it 1 inch. From there to this point is another 1 inch. So if you add from here to here now, it's 2 inch. That is what that means. In between this point and this point is 1 inch. In between this point and this point is another inch. That's another 1 inch. If you add that together, you have 2 inches. In between the longest points now is half an inch. That's the midline in between 1 and 2 is half an inch. That is 0.5. In between the long line and this line now is half of 0.5, which means it is 0.25. So if your measurement is running from here to here is 2 inch. If it is from here to here, it is 1.5 inch. That's 1.5. If it is from here to here, it is 1.25. Get that closely. Now if you're taking a measurement and let's say the person's waist or your waist is 11, it means this iron will rest here to give you 11. If it comes out to this point, remember this is 0.25, right? If it comes from here to this point, it means 11.25. If it goes like this, which means it's 11.5, that's 11.5. If it goes all the way like this, you know that it is up to 12. So in taking that, using my waist measurements now, if this iron part should rest on this, it means my waist measurement is 27. But if it comes out like this, it means my waist is 27.25. So if it comes all the way to this half, that's the center area between the two long lines, it means my waist is 27.5. That is how you take your measurement. Don't go and start from the length 60, from the point 60. That way you'll be getting it wrong. You start from 1. I hope you are clear on that. If there's any point where you don't understand, feel free to ask your questions. I'll be in the comment section to respond. During the course of explaining this video till the end, if there's any aspect you don't understand, don't be shy. Feel free to ask questions. I'll be showing you how to take accurate body measurements, after which we go ahead to learn how to use the measurements we've taken to make outfits. So I'll be using my baby sister for this illustration. First things first, you have to take the vertical measurements. When you're taking measurements, you consider the vertical measurements and the horizontal measurement. By vertical measurement, I mean moving from the head down to the toe, while horizontal measurements are the measurements that go across. So considering every point on the vertical measurement, you have the shoulder, which is the highest point of the shoulder, and then you move over to the chest, which is that point where the armhole is. So if she raises her arm like this, this is the chest point. So you take that point. The bust point is the fullest part of the bust, which is around here for her. Then you move down to the under bust, which is where the bust stops. Then you move down to the navel. That navel point is where the waist point is. So that becomes your waist point. And then if, help me and hold this, if she holds her dress tightly for me, the fullest part of the hip is the hip point. And then you move all the way down to the knee to get the knee point. You move all the way down to the ankle to get the ankle point. So these are the vertical measurements. Then we move on to the horizontal measurements. You take the shoulder measurement, and while taking the shoulder, you don't place your tape downward like this. You make sure it's going over the shoulder like this. There's this shoulder bone here, from here to here. Those are the points you consider in taking your shoulder measurement. And then you go over to take the chest measurement. This is the chest area. This is the bust measurement as well. You have to check at the back. See, it's down, so you have to pull it up, make sure it's up, and then you check again in the front, make sure the front is on the fullest part of the bust. Then you move under the bust now. Under the bust, you take the under bust circumference. Once that is done, you move down to the waist. That is the navel point. You take that measurement, you see. So our tape, this big part is graduated in inches, so that is what we are using. And then if the person is holding a big dress like this, you ask them to hold it for you, so you are able to figure out which part is the fullest part of the hip. So you take it like this, you turn around, you check the butt area, make sure it's not down, it's not up, it should be exactly at the bone where it's fullest. That's how to take your hip measurement. So those are basically the horizontal measurements, and then you move over to take the sleeve length. And in doing that, first of all, you have to take the armhole measurement. For this dress that she's wearing, you have to measure the armhole so it's not too open when you wear the dress. So this is how you do it. You put a finger in so that it will ease movement when the cloth is worn. So you take that as well. You proceed to take the length of the sleeve. Depending on how long you want the sleeve, you will just mark those points as you go. It can be on the fullest part of the arm, the elbow, like a 3/4, or a full length, which means it should be around the wrist area. And then you go on to take the round measurement of your arm as well, which is the circumference. Take the arm circumference, you consider this coming down to the elbow. You want to put a finger in to make sure it's loose enough for them to be able to move their arm when they wear it. Or you ask them to fold their arm like this, and then you take the measurement. Also, you move down to the wrist. If you notice, the wrist is smaller than where the fingers are, so you don't make it tight, because if it's too tight it can't pass. You give little allowance for ease. You understand? That's how you take measurements. So in our next video, I'll be showing you all. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. In our next video, I'll be showing you how to take measurement for skirts, how to take measurement for a simple top, and we'll go on to cut a simple skirt and sew it. So you should go ahead to buy your tools, all of the tools I mentioned earlier. Remember your tape, your scissors, your hand needle, a thread, and scissors. Yeah, those are the things I mentioned. You buy them, of course, a pattern paper, because you'll be practicing on it. If you have a sewing machine, that's a plus, because you will just go straight ahead to practice on the machine. I'll also show you how to use a machine. If you don't have a machine, you will be sewing your pattern paper until you're able to save up to buy a sewing machine. This is like the fundamental and the very basic of sewing. If you get your measurement wrong, your dress will definitely turn out not nice or not as good as it's supposed to be. So you would want to practice this as often as possible so you become good at it to avoid errors. And just in case you're wondering, this part of our tape is measured in inches. This is what we use mostly in this part of the world, Nigeria. And then this part is in centimeters. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification button so that you'll be one among the first people to be notified when the next video drops. Remember, this is Sewing 101. I'll be taking you from the basics starting from today, and then we'll build up from there until you're able to make beautiful outfits, at least for yourself. Thanks for watching.